What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Snowcast Sports Talk episode 25. Guys, it's been a little bit. I apologize for the lack of episodes over the past couple of weeks. As you can see, we're kind of in a new set here. I just recently moved to a different state. And also, too, you might notice it's just me here, but it's actually not just me here. I am joined by my brother, John. John, how are we doing?
Testing.
John's gonna bring
Yeah,
a
I'm doing good.
John's gonna bring some comedy. Um,
I'm doing good.
Doing good. Well, we're happy to have you here. So
Excited. I'm excited to be here.
hell yeah. So kind of an announcement, guys. Josh has decided. So he's been working actually on another project. His channel is called Nightwind Archer. You may have heard me referring to him as that. That's his gamer tag. It was an Xbox for a long time. So he's actually doing his own content. So he's kind of focusing fully on that. And here at the Snowcast, at least for the interim, John will be joining us. So John, like I said, we're happy to have you here. You want to tell us a little bit
Excited
about
to be
yourself
here.
and your
I,
football journey?
I have hot football takes.
John's
I've
gonna.
been told one of these days Cam Newton will be back and people will stop laughing at me.
Um,
My football journey has been um, ongoing now for a little bit, 5 years. Um, yeah, about 5 years of actually watching football. So, no, been a big fan. Not as crazy about the Giants as other people who are currently on this podcast right now,
yeah. So
but
that's a
excited for them next year.
Yeah, so that's a good place to start. I think there'll be a little bit of a change maybe in the way we go about doing this podcast. I am one of the biggest. I think I'm one of the biggest Giants fans ever. John is much more of a football fan. Me and John disagree on a lot more. I think one of our biggest disagreements is I think the logo is more important than the name on the jersey. I could argue John thinks the name's more important than the logo. So
No
John's
doubt.
John's followed players. So John's a very big Tom Brady guy.
Yep.
John's a very big Joe Burrow fan, but John has never
Yep.
said anything bad about the Giants. He's always watched Giants games with me, and so I think the structure of this podcast will be, and we're going to kind of test it out today for episode 25, is we're going to do a couple big stories in football. So we'll do two stories in football, and then we'll do maybe some more Giants related stuff at the end.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that'll kind of be the way we go about it. And so I guess with that, let's dig into it. One other thing, John will be on camera on episode 26. We'll
Yeah.
do these once a week. This was very spur of the moment. I think we weren't planning on doing this. We had talked about it. This is just a test run. John is in no way a full member yet, but we're going to
Oh,
try to do one once a week.
I bet there's a trial I'm still going through.
Yeah, so he'll have
Once
his.
I pass the trials,
Yeah, it's sort of like becoming a Jedi Master.
becoming a Jedi.
Yeah, so, but the first thing we wanted to talk about was some outside football news. I think when Tom Brady lost Antonio Brown, um, you could say it hurt his season last year. You could say that. Tom Brady, I think, was missing that solid number three wide receiver. So, with that, past couple, I think it was like a week or two ago, or maybe it was this week. Julio Jones is now the newest member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, John, I guess I'll,
Right.
I'll let you give your take first and what you think about all this.
Well, um, I think you're right. I think when Antonio left last year, I don't think it particularly hurt Brady, but it hurt the Bucs as a team, and that they were so close in skill level with the Rams that the Rams they were just a bit above them maybe without Antonio, so that was that loss potentially. You know what, I don't know if that's definitely
It's hard to
a
remember.
fact.
It's
It'd
hard to
be it'd
remember.
be yeah, it'd be interesting to go back and see if a few more of those passes, because Brady didn't do too well till the second half, like the fourth quarter, and maybe with Antonio they could have been doing
Well,
keeping pace the whole game.
if you think about Tom Brady as a player too, Tom Brady's the kind of guy he's gonna take what you give him, and that's what makes Tom Brady, I
Yeah,
think, the goat. Tom Brady will know when to force the ball, but he also knows when to take what's being given to him, and having a really solid number three wide receiver, I think is like Tom Brady's bread and butter. Like you can think about like
right,
a Danny Amendola for a long time. Trying to think of other
right.
solid number three,
I I, I
number
think
three, but
there's also something cool about those old guys who are trying to still live in their glory that Brady really inspires. Like it's always funny to me Eminem hasn't come out and done something with Brady as just being like the goat of his craft, but older, and so he's slowly dying out. And you look at Julio and 33, I think he's 33
Yep.
for a receiver. It's older, and so you can look too in the last, I don't know, maybe 2 years, he has not had any sort of substantial season. But you look back before that, and he was almost the best MVP. He was almost the MVP receiver in the league.
He
And
was almost the MVP of the
you know,
Super Bowl.
yeah, and so yeah, that's Super Bowl. You can go back if you want to. If you want to know if Julio was ever good, just
Watch
go back
that
and watch
catch.
Julio
Oh my
Jones
God! In that
Super Bowl something something Falcons Pats. But either way, um, I think Brady inspires those guys to come out and play well. I think he did it with Gronk. I think 2021 he did it with Antonio, and I think he could do it with Julio. So it could be really great for both of them.
And you got to think too, in Julio's mindset, where else are you gonna go? You know, Julio has been at the
Yeah.
pinnacle of football in the sense of, yeah. I mean, there was a time the two best wide receivers in football, in my opinion, were DeAndre Hopkins and Julio Jones. Like those were the two. Those were the two best. And like as a Giants fan, Odell was really popping off at that time too, being at Big Blue.
Right.
And so, you know, Julio's had the Pro Bowls, he's had the all-team all-pros, he's, you know, been to a Super Bowl, but he hasn't won one. So, you know, where else are you going to go at 33 on the twilight of your career? You might as well go play
Right.
with the GOAT and go push it. And, you know, I would argue too, dude, you know, we can go into a bigger Bucs conversation here. Tom Brady got rid of the one problem on that team, and it was Bruce Arians.
Dude, so funny story, a little backstory. I'm at work, and the guy who runs shipping, a guy named Ruben, he loves sports. So I was talking about football a little bit, and he was asking me what team I root for, and I said the Bucks. But I told him, and I was like, the problem with the Bucks though is Bruce Arians is a fool, and he holds him back. And then the next day, Arians was gone, and Ruben came into my office, and he was like, John, what kind of voodoo
Witchcraft.
shit did you pull? But no, you're right. And you know what's even, yeah, really, if you look at there's a lot of, it's all still in the dark, but you go back and look at Antonio, it's safe to assume that it was Antonio v. Bruce, and poor Tom Brady, who just wanted a ring, is in the middle of it. And you got two egos, two guys who care more about themselves than the team, two guys that care more about themselves than the Super Bowl, and they're fighting. And then they blow up in the middle of a game, and Tom Brady's like, what the hell just happened? And so they're both gone now, so we'll see. It could be really good.
And, you know, if you put Julio, we talked about this on the phone, if you put Julio in an inverse machine, you get Antonio Brown. Or if you put Antonio Brown in an inverse machine, you get Julio. I mean, even build-wise, Julio's he's fast for sure, but Julio's got that nice big build. But he's also
6'4". He's like Mike Evans says.
Who knows what Julio's voice sounds like, dude? That guy he's just all about work ethic. He's not gonna shit talk. He is just there to play ball, and like that's the perfect guy for Brady.
It's gonna be epic.
So I think it was a great signing. I think it was better for Julio than for the Bucs. I am afraid of Julio's injury history.
Yep.
You know, the thing is, as you get older, your body just, you know, it declines in rejuvenation ability. So, you know, Julio, he's had some tough injuries, and I think,
Right, dude. You think he's gonna get on that TB12 method though, dude?
Dude,
Practice some pliability.
Dude, I bet he's been on it. I bet you he's met with Alex Guerrero. I bet you he has.
It's a guarantee, and that could change everything.
It did for Gronk. Dude.
Yeah, dude.
You know, I'm one of the Giants fans. You know, I think Giants fans, just to rope this back into there, a lot of Giants fans like really hate Tom Brady, but like I just and I get that. I get hating Tom Brady. I think it's very easy to hate Tom Brady. You know, he's a multimillionaire. His wife makes more money than him. He can come off very pompous and like, you know, I mean, one of like, you know, when he lost to the Giants in 2007, one of the Giants players said the final score was going to be 17-21 or something like that. Giants win. And Tom Brady like laughed and said, we're only going to score 17 points. And he was like, okay. And they only scored 14 in the end. So, you know, Giants fans maybe have a disdain for Brady, but I can tell you, and I live in New England too, so maybe I'm biased. I mean, the guy is just, his craft, man, the way he works at it is ridiculous. And I don't know where I was going this besides maybe the TB12 method really will help Julio like it helped Gronk, you know?
Right. Yep, it could give some longevity back into him.
So yeah, and the thing is too is I think Brady came back out of retirement because he looked at the NFC and he goes, okay, I have to beat the Rams. I mean, I can't think of another team that's gonna put up a fight. I mean, I'd love to see the Giants but I just don't think they're there yet against the Rams. I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe the Cardinals if Kyler's doing his homework.
Nah,
Did
I
you,
could see the Giants. I could see the Giants beating the Cardinals in a playoff game, dude.
um, Seahawks won't be there. I'm trying to think of other NFC teams off the top of my head. I guess let me know down below, guys, what you think. But I think the NFC is really just the Bucs or the Rams. I
It'd be
can't.
interesting. I was thinking about.
Yeah, go
Um,
ahead.
real quick, do you remember last year's opening game, dude? That was epic. It was an epic opening game
Dude,
between.
Cowboys Bucks and the
Yes,
Cowboys
dude.
Cowboys played a great game and Dak was coming off an
Sweet, dude.
injury, dude. I
Yeah,
can't give Dak enough respect for how much I dislike the
bro. Our
Cowboys.
That's their first game again. That's not the first game in the NFL, but it's the Bucks'
Yeah,
first
that's
game. I
Sunday.
wonder if we're gonna see a decline. I wonder if we're gonna see the Bucks smoke them.
We'll see, man. I think Dak will play pretty well. Yeah, we'll see. The opening game this year though is better. Bills Rams. That could be the Super Bowl, man. I'm telling you.
Could be the
Like,
Super Bowl.
I think the Bills have a lot of hype, so it could backfire on them. Like that's always tough for teams. But yeah, just kind of roll back around. I think Julio made the right choice. I think Tom Brady got him some money too, which is awesome. I'm happy about that. And I think for Brady, he got a really solid number 3 wide receiver. Like Julio's gonna have a lot
Oh
of fun
yeah.
going up against
Yep.
number 3 cornerbacks. Like that's wild.
Yep. Put a little depth in their receiving core too, in case some injuries
Absolutely.
happen.
And dude, there were some drops last year. I remember the Bucks players having some serious drops at the later half
Yeah,
of the
dude, they had
season.
they. That was because
Antonio was
after
gone. Those other guys
Antonio
were not
leaves, and then
reliable.
Godwin gets hurt, dude. Godwin had like
Yeah.
a torn ACL or something. He's gonna miss the first couple games, they say. So that literally, we were looking at Evans, who was doubled, and then we had all rookie, brand new receivers who
Yeah,
had
who were not there
reps
yet.
with Brady because Brady didn't even. I mean, obviously they practiced together, but at the same time, I'm sure they didn't expect that to happen. So it's like you can't plan to lose your 2 best receivers, and that hurt him bad.
Yeah, for
And then
sure.
Gronk just being an older tight end. They really, yeah. You can look back and like that said it all for the Bucks. The second half of that season, it was like,
You also
yeah,
you hear people talk about this, and I think it's true. Brady really likes to build rapport with his guys. Like if Brady doesn't trust you, Brady will not trust you, and you could see that. I think Brady very much likes to know what his guys like. He likes his guys to know what he likes, what kind of routes he expects, and I think because of that, I mean, you even see Brady and Julio throwing on like the Instagram of the Buccaneers. Like I see it sometimes, and the
oh
Bucks have a
yeah,
couple old Giants players. They have Logan Ryan now.
Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, Logan Ryan, by the way, is a super awesome dude. It sucks the Giants couldn't keep him, but we just couldn't afford him. We saved money cutting him. Um,
What position?
he plays safety, but he was a cornerback before that. So he was a cornerback on the Patriots and the Titans. He actually caught Brady's last pass in New England. It was the interception against the Titans, and then ran back for the pick six. Um, but Logan Ryan won a couple Super Bowls with the Patriots. You can tell I'm out of practice, guys. I'm slurring my words, but Logan Ryan's gonna be a great addition.
Okay.
He'll be a great leader too. And then yeah, you guys lost Howard, but you got Kyle Rudolph, who again failed miserably with the Giants. I mean, he was maybe 1 or 2 big plays in the whole year, but he's a pretty serviceable tight end. So like, and again, I just think not having Bruce Arians there is gonna be awesome for the Bucks.
Me too, dude. It's gonna let Brady. You know what'll be epic is Brady's never had more power on a team, and nor
So
has
much.
Bill Belichick, dude. So it's gonna be,
Dude, Bill
it could
Belichick,
be.
John, Bill Belichick didn't name any coordinators. He does not have a
No, no, no.
defensive coordinator, or he's
He's
all of
running
them.
everything. It's literally, dude. If a Bucks Patriots
Super
matchup
Super
is
Bowl,
now
dude.
it's quite literally a Brady
Brady
Belichick matchup.
I'd believe the
It's
NFL is rigged if that was it. If that was it, I'd be like, well, if somehow the Patriots get in front of so many of these AFC teams that look so good.
no, yeah, that's the difference. You look at Brady and he's like, yeah, I can tear up this NFC. You look at Belichick and he should not be looking at the AFC with that level of confidence.
Dude, I don't even know. I don't know if he should be looking at the East.
I can name 5 teams. I've been thinking twice that. No,
I think you can argue the
On a bad
Dolphins
day.
and the Jets will put up a better fight against the Patriots than he expects.
You can argue the Dolphins can.
All right. Next topic, though. Next topic. So this one, so me and John, we agree. We usually agree. I'd say me and John agree. So for anyone who doesn't know, John is my younger brother. John has always been involved in Snowstorm Studios projects, and so
Yep.
I think
came up with the name.
he did come up with the name. John did come up with the name. Where I think when we did ESO stuff and other things, we always were in agreement and had fun and were laughing. You will hear arguments on this podcast. Me and John, we argue a lot. And the one person me and John have massive disagreements on is none other than first overall pick Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield was on the Browns. And John, tell me if there's any context I don't add, let me know. He was the first overall pick. The Browns went 0-16. Baker won like 7 games once he became a starter his rookie year. His second year, they declined a bit because the coach was horrible, Freddie Kitchens. The third year, they go to the playoffs and win their first playoff game against their division rival, the Steelers, which was awesome. And then last year, Baker got hurt, and again, me and John, we watched a lot of football when he was home visiting our family for Christmas, and we watched Baker against the Packers on Christmas Day. And it was probably the worst quarterback performance I've ever seen. And Baker was clearly injured, trying to throw some passes that just weren't doable with his current situation. And he had a lot of bad tape. And then Deshaun Watson becomes available, and the Browns decide to trade their entire future and pay him $230 million guarantee. And Baker wants to get out of Cleveland so bad that now he took a huge pay cut, signed wild incentives. Like, I think he gets like a pack of mint gum and like 3 Chuck E. Cheese tokens.
Bar.
Yeah, and a Klondike bar if he gets to the playoffs. But Baker's now on the Panthers, which is ironic because he's with Sam Darnold, who was the 3rd overall pick in his draft. So, John, how do you feel about Baker going to the Panthers? I guess let's start there.
It's kind of like Baker going to the Panthers is Jared Goff going to the Lions. And that's the best way to explain it. You're going to see, if he plays, you're going to see an improvement in the Panthers because it's the best quarterback they've had in 5 years. Just like
Baker's better than Cam?
That's interesting. Yeah. Not Cam 2015, but ever since.
All right, fair enough.
In the recent history, I would say he's better. I think you would agree with me better too.
Yeah, I think Baker's better
Cam is going to be an underdog. Cam is going to be an underdog if he ever.
Cam can't throw. He can't throw.
It was going to be out of nowhere.
Yeah,
there was no evidence to back it up.
Cam
there was
can't
no
throw.
evidence to back
he
it up.
can't throw.
There's a lot of evidence to back up Baker is good. There's only recent evidence to say he's not good, which is why I think him going to the Panthers for the Panthers is a win. I think for him, he's with a much worse team. He's with a much worse coach. He's in a much
and I don't mean to cut you off, John, but just to clarify that and really condense it down, like I asked you the other day, what do the Panthers have that the Browns don't? You know what I'm saying?
Dude, honestly, bro, enough of a conscience to not pay $276 trillion for a guy who didn't play a single game last year.
Who's not going to play maybe a single game this year.
Yeah. No. But
it's really, a very Browns move. That's a very Browns move. Yep.
No, but and when we were talking about it too, potentially this is very, very controversial.
Yeah.
No evidence here. It is hard to know a full season of Nick Chubb or a full season of
Christian McCaffrey,
who's an actual better running back. It's hard to tell.
I would say Chubb.
Hard to tell.
I like Chubb better, but it's okay.
Chubb will play a season. I think maybe McCaffrey has more straight talent, but he might not play the whole season.
Totally.
So that would be the only arguable difference. Everything else, he's going in worse.
I couldn't have thought of a worse team for Baker to go to be honest with you, for a couple reasons. Baker might not get a lot of playing time, so Baker signed a 1-year deal. So I truly believe after this year, Baker will go somewhere else. And the reason I say that is the Panthers drafted Matt Corral in the 3rd round. Matt Corral is the quarterback out of Ole Miss, and he is personally my favorite quarterback out of this draft. I know a lot of people like the guy on the Titans. I know a lot of people. Who was the first guy? Kenny Pickett went to the Steelers. But Matt Corral, in my opinion, like, he doesn't have a huge arm, but he's super mobile. I think he's a smart kid, and he's on the Panthers too. And I just think Baker's going to have a tough time staying on the field. And so for that reason, I think it was bad. But also, too, there's a coaching staff in Matt Rule who I think is going to be gone after this year. And then, Sam Darnold, people are like, oh, he knows the system. Well, they have a new system this year, so no, Baker will learn it. But Sam Darnold's going to be competition too. So I just think all those reasons. And then even who's the wide receiver on the Panthers? Robinson. He tweeted out a couple months ago when they were like, "Oh, Baker should go to the Panthers." He retweeted it with a no. And so it's like I don't even know if the Panthers are sold on this guy. I just feel like the Seahawks was a way better spot for Baker to end up, but the Seahawks were like, "No way, we're gonna get a quarterback."
Yeah. The Seahawks will be bad for a couple years. I think
they know that.
I think Baker gets signed again. I actually do think Baker stays with the Panthers. I think.
Really, but what if they get a new coaching staff?
Honestly, dude, I think really, you look at the Lions, and you see a team that like.
The thing about the Lions,
you look at the Lions and you see a team with a lot of good pieces. You look at the Panthers.
I don't see a lot of good pieces. No,
they're not, dude. And it's like if you have to have Baker for the reason they keep Baker is because there's no reason to not keep him.
Well, honestly, you have to pay him. You have to pay him after this year.
Yeah, but
how much money is he gonna ask for?
If no quarterback, no team is going to want Baker after this year because we're not going to see Baker put up numbers. We're just going to see the Panthers have a slightly better record than last year. And in reality, it's going to be like Jared Goff with the Lions. Teams are not looking at Goff now as like he's some god. He just was slightly better. The Lions, were slightly better. And I think that's what we're going to see. And I think if you're part of the Panthers organization, you're just like, why do we get rid of a quarterback now when we don't have a good O-line, we don't have a good receiving core, we need to get a new running back who won't get hurt.
Because I can tell you
if they
because
drop him. The only reason you drop Baker is if Sam Darnold plays better,
or if Matt Corral does, and then you don't want to pay Baker because you have to pay him this year. So there's two scenarios. If I had to bet, I would say Sam Darnold starts. And then I think Sam Darnold, either way, is going to play bad enough that Baker will get an opportunity to play. Now, when Baker gets that opportunity...
it's going to happen fast.
When Baker gets that opportunity,
he's going to do well.
It could happen because the offensive line on the Panthers is really iffy. Besides Ikem Ekwonu, who is a draft pick who I love, I just can see... I can see Darnold not playing very long, and then Baker can go one of two ways. Baker can either be the Baker from 2 years ago and actually make the Panthers better. And maybe, be more competitive and all that great stuff. Or Baker somehow gets hurt too, and then once Matt Corral gets the ball, I just don't see the Panthers going back. I just think Matt Corral's the best quarterback in there. I personally do. I think he has the most to prove, and I think he also has the highest ceiling. But I guess those are the two options. Baker's going to get playing time, and he's either going to make the most of it. But I still think he won't stay with the Panthers. I think he'll make the most of it and go somewhere else because the Panthers will have a whole new regime coming in, and they're not going to want to pay Baker to win 2 more games. They'd rather lose those 2 games and then get a better draft pick. But he's either going to play well or Matt Corral will get in there and won't give it back. So,
what team is Falco on? Falco. Yeah, I think that's Flacco.
Joe Flacco. He's back up for the Jets.
I think that's. Wait, no, he's not. He went back to the Jets?
Yeah,
he left last year.
Yeah, he came back. Yeah, he's on the Jets.
That's comedy.
Yeah.
I think Baker stays with the Panthers for the same reason Flacco is still with the Jets, dude. Because I think Baker would take
whatever deal they give him. Whatever deal they give him.
Because no one else will want him. Yeah, I think honestly he comes out and he wins a lot of games, and I think he comes out and even if when he doesn't win, he puts up good numbers and he has good QBR ratings and he's looking good. And in that case, they keep him because he's playing well. I think if he doesn't play well, then they get rid of Darnold. They start the new guy next year or at the end of this year, and they keep Baker for the same reason the Jets keep Flacco, as just a backup who, if this kid gets hurt, can come in and have a chance of winning a game. And I can see that because I don't think he either stays there as a backup or he retires. There's no team will want him. If they didn't want him this year, they won't.
I think Baker. Yeah, I don't know. The more I think,
I'll tell you though. it'd be an interesting team, bro, if it were Cam and Baker right now. That'd be a really interesting team
God,
because
you would be wearing all your
it'd be
Panthers stuff.
I really would, dude. I'd be really excited for that team because it's kind of like, dude, they're missing a guy like Brady who's just should be there to tie it together. Because if that tied together the right way, it'd be
Oh my
dangerous. But
God,
like,
dude, no.
it probably wouldn't.
God.
I would say that dude, you know what? I think looking at it now, um, in my opinion, Baker's better than half the quarterbacks in the league. In my
All right.
opinion,
Let's
the
do this. Let's
Panthers.
do this. Let's do, or finish what you're gonna say. Then we're gonna do a Baker quiz.
Yeah. In my opinion, the
Baker
Panthers are the
test.
worst team in the league, and because of that, this whole situation, my like real bet to where like this is where I'd really put my money. The whole situation will be wildly underwhelming because the Panthers are just that bad, and so really, we're not gonna ever know. We're not
But
gonna
we
get
talk.
to see. We're not gonna get an answer.
We talk
The
about
Panthers
like
are just that bad.
we talk about great quarterbacks though being able to elevate their team. Like an example is Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion. I think the Packers only got worse as a team going into this year, but Aaron Rodgers is going to elevate that team because he has that skill level. Do you think Baker has that skill level to elevate that team? Like honestly, because I don't know if he does. Now I'm not saying Daniel Jones does. I'm not saying Jared Goff does,
Really,
but
I think no, he does not.
yeah,
Because the
and
only guy in the
that's
history of football who's ever had that skill is Joe Burrow. The only in history of football, in my
Tom Brady.
opinion, that I've seen.
Tom Brady has had it.
Nah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
has. So,
Belichick's a good coach.
yeah,
Belichick's a
but
good
some of those
coach.
Patriots teams they shed talent like it was no one's business, but they always were good because Brady elevates the team. Aaron Rodgers,
But Belichick
The
is a good
Packers,
coach.
but look at the Packers. They've had different coaches and different players, and Aaron Rodgers is so good. I'm not saying he's the best,
It's
but
Devontae Adams.
yeah,
And how many years was he there?
he didn't. Aaron Rodgers didn't win a Super Bowl with Devontae. He had a totally different receiving core. And he
When
did
did Devontae join?
Devontae, I want to say he joined in 2016 or 2017. And Aaron Rodgers won a Super Bowl the year after the Giants did in 2011, 2012.
Gotcha.
But what I'm saying though is, and then Aaron Rodgers elevated his team when Mike McCarthy was the coach, who's the Cowboys coach now. And then he's gone through all these different coaches too, and look at what he's done with them, you know. But what I'm saying though is like I think, you know, even Matt Stafford, like I don't know if he has that ability. Look at Matt Stafford on the Lions. He
No,
never
he does.
elevated.
Matt Stafford does not. No, dude.
But I think Russell Wilson did. I think Russell Wilson carried the Seahawks.
Well, there we go. I would say of all the quarterbacks you just listed, Russell will be the only one to really prove it. Dude, I have trouble because I just don't remember when Rodgers.
Yeah, we
I
didn't
don't
watch football
remember
then,
a
but I'm
time.
telling you,
Yeah, I
Rodgers
don't
has been
remember a
good
time
since
Green
he
Bay.
played, dude.
I guess. Yeah, but I don't
But
remember a
they're
time
always
Green Bay was
relevant,
bad.
dude.
I think
Yeah,
what I'm trying to say
you just
is,
answered
I
it.
guess
You don't remember. You don't
let me
remember
be
when they were
clear.
bad. You don't remember when they were bad, and that's exactly my point with Rodgers.
And
Is he always elevates that team? It doesn't matter who they switch around, as long as Rodgers is playing quarterback, they'll be a good team. The Patriots were
the
very
original
similar.
question, the original question we brought up was, is a quarterback good enough to make a team good?
No, is
And
Baker
the thing,
good enough to make that team good? And we
either
said
way,
no.
either way, Green Bay before Rodgers was Favre, and like Green Bay is good.
Yeah, but okay, all right. So you know,
Cincinnati is
no,
bad.
no.
The Panthers are bad. Billy, the Broncos bad. So those three particularly,
so
it is interesting to see
uh,
if a quarterback.
so
Dude, Billy, here's a great one. You're right actually about Brady. You know why? Tampa Bay was
bad, dude.
And bad. Oh yes, I
but
actually do put Brady in there now.
Russ and Brady are going to teams that are missing the quarterback, and what I mean by that is the Broncos
They have a lot of
always
pieces.
the Broncos have a ton of great pieces, and so
Yeah.
did the Bucs. They just couldn't get the quarterback right. The point I'm making with Aaron Rodgers is he's been there for so long, and even though they interchange and move things around, and even when turmoil is going on, when he's fighting with the GM and he's unhappy about the quarterback being drafted under him, like Aaron Rodgers just plays well. I guess I just can't see Baker doing that. And there's only few quarterbacks that can. I think Joe Burrow's absolutely a guy who does that. I think Justin Herbert's a guy who does that. I think Josh Allen.
Dude,
I think
Herbert, too.
I think Josh Allen makes the Bills look a lot better than they actually are. Stephon Diggs is a stud, but other than that, he makes Gabriel Davis, he makes Dawson Knox, he makes Devin Singletary, he makes a lot of those guys on the Bills look better. I think Brady makes a lot of guys on the Bucs look better, especially when you look at some of these tight ends, some of these running backs, where Brady can diagnose the play, move the offensive line. I think Aaron Rodgers does that. I don't know if Matt Stafford does. I don't know if Baker Mayfield does. And so, I don't know if I don't know if Kyler does. But I guess that's the point with Baker is like.
Yeah, I think with Baker, what would be cool is
I think the Panthers need to play better than they have in the past for Baker to have that success. And I think I'm going to leave it there.
Yes, and that's where it should be left. And that's the truth. And that's as far as you can go, because the problem is he's just not a Burrow to the Cincinnati, dude. He's not. We're not about to see the Panthers win the division.
And it's crazy because they are both. I mean, it's crazy when you look at number one picks. When you look at Joe Burrow, Kyler Murray, and Baker Mayfield. I think those were and then Trevor Lawrence. Those were the last 4 number one overall picks. And just think about the difference in all of them. You got Baker, who's now on his second team. Baker, I would argue, Baker's 1 season away from being a bust. I think that's what I'm going to say. He's one. If Baker flames out with the Panthers and doesn't play well, which really bums me out because he's not put in the situation to succeed, that's tough. And I think there's a deeper conversation, but let me finish here. And then you have Kyler, who's on the Cardinals, who's a team with a lot of pieces around him, but Kyler kind of gets figured out. And then you got Joe Burrow, who absolutely elevates his team and makes them just absolutely 10 times better than they should be.
Yeah.
And then you have Trevor
Cincinnati
Lawrence.
Had no business being in that Super Bowl.
No, they didn't. But Cincinnati, everything, it just reminded me so much of the Giants. It's too bad they didn't win, but I think though too, people will say, "Oh, well, look at the 2000 Ravens." Like the quarterback and they beat the Giants, but the 2000 Ravens, they had, I think it was like Dilfer was the quarterback's name. He literally was just a game manager, but the way football was played back then and the way the rules were and the way the schemes were built up, you could win with a good defense. Right. I just don't know if that's the case. Yeah, with Peyton, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yeah, but Cam, yeah.
That could be the last year we will see a defensive team beat an offensive team, because that was Cam's best year.
No. Patriots against the Rams, 2018.
Oh yeah,
that game was 10-3. Right. Belichick. Yeah, you're right. Belichick had his way with Sean McVay.
Dude, Belichick could be the only coach who can beat Sean McVay.
Yeah, but Belichick doesn't realize he needed Brady. It's funny. I'm just going to take it back a step. I'm excited to have you here, John, because you and me can just ramble. We go back and forth. We've touched 40 topics.
Yeah,
but
we've lost it.
We'll iron it out. But this is how me and John talk about football. And, it's what's going to make our podcast fun and a good time. So
I would say this real quick, though.
Go ahead.
We'll move on from Baker. I would like it to be known that on this day of July 30th, John is very excited to watch Baker. I don't know if he will do well, but you know what I freaking love about football? A guy who people don't think will do well, who then comes out and does well. So you know what? Maybe he will, maybe he won't. I am really rooting for him. I would be so excited to watch the Panthers get to the playoffs.
And you know who their first game's against?
Yes, dude. And that's why I really hope
let's
watch Sam get hurt or take a seat.
Let's
because if Baker's mad at them and he comes out, dude, he plays well. Nothing better to me than sticking it to the man, dude.
I have a question for you. Let's say Baker gets the start, and Deshaun Watson he'll be suspended week 1. So you got Jacoby Brissett and the Browns, which is the exact opposite of what the Panthers will be in your mind. The Panthers have the quarterback, but maybe the team around him isn't good. Obviously, you'll have C-Mac ready to go. Who wins that game? It's the Browns' superior roster with not as great a quarterback? I mean, I will definitely say Baker I would prefer over Jacoby Brissett. So now, Panthers have the quarterback, but the Browns, I think, have everything else. I think the Browns have the roster, the coach. Who do you think wins that game?
I think the Browns win that game.
Me too.
I'm sorry. The Panthers. I think I'm going to say Baker Mayfield wins that game. I'm not going to say the Panthers. I'm going to say Baker Mayfield.
All right.
I could see it, and I could see it being 27-24. I could see really we're looking at a field goal. We're looking at an overtime, a 1 point. I really think it could be that close, because the problem is if what's his face doesn't play, the Browns just have I don't know, dude. I don't know. You know what it is? I do know what it is. I really believe a quarterback is that important to a team.
Yeah, I agree, but I is Baker that good a quarterback? That's what you're going to learn in that game if he gets to play, if that scenario plays out. So
They should let him.
all right, final story, guys. So a couple weeks ago, Josh and I, we went through the Giants' schedule and did a reaction. John and I, we were actually just playing a video game over the weekend, and we started looking at team schedules. And this might be something me and John do every week. So I think this week we're going to do the Giants. John's a big Tampa Bay and a big Cincinnati fan. He's a really big Joey Burrow guy, and he's a really big Tom Brady guy. So I think next week we'll go through those schedules, and then we'll just kind of go through schedules and take a look. But we're going to do a relook here at the Giants' schedule. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to have a tracker, and we're going to go through the schedule one game at a time, give a couple quick notes on them, and we'll see where the Giants end up. I think I had them at 8-9 at the end of the last time we did this. So we'll see where we are now with maybe some roster changes and other things like that. So with that, John, I sent you a link. You should have it popped up. Let me know if you see it. It is just the Giants' 2022 schedule. So right now, the Giants are 0-0. So, hey, we play the Bengals in the second week of the preseason. Which, again, preseason, Josh will actually be on the channel, guys, a bunch more. Like, this is not the end of Josh. He's just focusing on his channel, which, by the way, there'll be a link down below. But Josh will definitely be on for game recaps and stuff, because Josh will still follow the Giants. I just think, as stories come out during the week and stuff, it'll be a little bit tougher for him with just everything else going on in his life. So we'll have him back on. But, John, do you have it up? Are you ready to go through?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so starting off, we have an away game against Tennessee. And I'm going to go first here. Tennessee, I think, actually, they traded A.J. Brown to the Eagles, and they got a wide receiver who, I forget his name, but he's built just like A.J. But I think Derrick Henry coming back against a Giants defense that I'm really suspect about. And I like the Giants defense. Like, I like the pieces, but it's just, I don't know if it's there yet. Being an away game, and then also, Brian Dable, there's a lot of hype. I love this guy. I love the new coaching staff on the Giants, and everyone knows that. The Giants offseason couldn't have gone more perfectly for me. They got the coach and the GM I wanted, and they got the two players that I liked the most. I've never been more excited as a Giants fan in my entire life. But this game, I think, will be a pretty decent loss. I could see this game being 30-17. 35-21.
Yeah.
So I see this as a loss. I see the Titans as having a good opening. So
to hit back on that, and I'll make this point a little bit throughout this segment. The Giants are a team who needs
Daniel Jones to play well.
See if you can help me think the word here real quick. Do you remember when 2020 when the Bucs were only okay and people kept saying they didn't have
continuity? They need continuity.
Thank you. The Giants need real in-game continuity with the new system. They need them, and so they won't have it yet.
Of course,
so
exactly.
You're right. This will be a loss because of that specifically.
And
maybe it'll be big, maybe it'll be small. They don't win this game because of that.
And the Titans, I would argue, have great continuity. They got Mike Vrabel coming back. They have a lot of the same offensive players. The defense is pretty similar from last year. I think the Titans come back. I don't think they're going to win. I can talk about the Titans a lot, but I think they win this game. I think if I was a Titans fan, I'd be stoked to be playing the Giants week 1 at home. So, gonna give this one 0-1.
Yeah.
How do I write this down? I need to figure out a way here. One sec, everyone, because we're gonna keep track here. So we're just gonna pull up a Word document, and so I got 0-1, and then John has got 0-1.
0-1.
All right, we got 0-1.
Nice. Yeah, put mine in there too.
Yep, 0-1, 0-1. Fair enough. No, don't check. One sec. Sorry, everyone. I should have set this up earlier.
Really, how real should I be, bro? Should I have fun with this, or should I be putting my money where my mouth is?
Put your money where your mouth is, dude. We're recording. Come on. All right.
Well, these next two.
So yeah.
Particularly.
So week 2 against the Panthers. Do you want to start with this one?
Yeah. Fun John wants to say the Panthers sweat this out if Baker starts. Real John's got to say Sam starts, so the Giants win. But it's honestly the first good game of the year for the Giants. Dude,
it's a great week,
really
too. A great home opener.
If I was going with, and you know what would be good about it, too? I don't know who the Panthers... Oh, they're going to play the Browns. Oh, so you know what would be interesting about this game? We're going to have two... Dude, I always remember this with the beginning of football. The teams who start losing really get a chip on their shoulder because you lose 4 games and
you're basically statistically
it's
hard to come back from it.
Right. There's a mentality thing and it is hard. And so we're going to have 2 0-1 teams potentially here. And so this will be a bloodbath, but I think the Giants get it.
I do too. We beat them last year with a worse coach, a worse team, and I just think the Giants will be better in every way, shape, and form. We'll get some of the rust off week 1. There'll still be a little bit more continuity, and I just think being the home opener, and I would prefer to play against Darnold. Hopefully he's still playing. We can win this game. So 1-1, which is great. If the Giants can start off 1-1, great. Monday Night Football against the Cowboys, I have us losing this game for 2 reasons. One, for some reason, and I hope this changes, when you put the Giants on primetime TV, we do a very good job embarrassing ourselves, which is why you have the Stephen A. Smiths and the Skip Baylesses and the Shannon Sharps and the Nick Wrights who just talk mad crap on the Giants because they actually know nothing about them. They've just have watched the primetime games. And because of that, they say the stupidest crap ever, but it's just because it's true. So just being a Monday night game, I still think, quarterback being the most important thing. Dak is the best quarterback in the NFC East. I would love for that to change, but right now, I just give it to the Cowboys. So 1-2.
I go weird on this one, dude. I actually really think the Giants win this. Wow. I think this is where I think this as well. If the Giants beat the Panthers, I can see them really winning this. If they lose to the Panthers, I think they have
that's
a
good point.
Chance. Yeah, if they can start to get a little momentum, a little ground under their feet, and they start to see some of that continuity, we start to see those new coaches come in. We start to see Daniel. The thing with Daniel, he's not a bad quarterback. He makes bad decisions. So you put the right coaches on him, and you teach him a little, he won't make those decisions. And if Saquon's not hurt, you can beat the Cowboys, dude. And the Cowboys are going in feeling defeated before the season's even started. And I don't know who the Cowboys are going to play their first 2 games, but if the Cowboys win their
Bucs
first
are week 1 for them.
That's right. They'll probably lose that. We'll see though. I put the Giants as a win here.
Okay, all right.
Another bloodbath. I think this is a bloody game. I think this could be Saquon's last game. I think we could see a backup quarterback.
For one of the 2 teams. Hey, that's true. John, that's funny you say that because the Giants, Daniel, remember he got concussed and he got up and there was drool. And then the game before that, the year before, the Giants snapped Dak's ankle.
Yes, dude, it's bloody.
Dak picked up his foot and his ankle was hanging. So it could be. I hope not. Knock on wood. I don't want any injuries for any players. That's definitely.
Unless
it
Dak,
sucks when players get hurt. It's just not. I hate the Eagles. I want every one of their players to stay healthy, and I want to beat them real. Going up against the Bears. This is a win for me. The Bears are in the same exact situation as the Giants. New coach, new GM. Justin Fields is coming into his second year, and a lot of quarterbacks take a big step their second year. But I just think Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator for the Giants, will have a lot of fun with this game. I could see this being a game Kayvon pops off. I could see, Leonard Williams having a big day, Azeez Ojulari. I give this a win, and the Giants in week 4 now are 2-2.
I see this as a win as well. And I don't have too much to say on it. I think it's really going to come down to Daniel Jones will just play a better game than Justin Fields.
Yeah, so you got them at John. You have them 3-1.
Yeah.
All right, week 5, we go to London and we play the Packers at 9:30 in the morning. I absolutely think this will be a loss. I love the Giants. I hope they win it. It'd be really cool. They've had every London game they've played, they've won, but I absolutely see the Giants losing this game. Aaron Rodgers, I have a lot of respect for him, especially. You play Aaron Rodgers in week 5, it's like playing Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. For some reason, Aaron Rodgers in the regular season is God tier. So he's won the MVP 2 years in a row. Just wait till it gets chilly outside, then he'll play horrible. They lose this game.
Not funny. He spends all that time in Lambeau. Yeah, they lose this game too.
Week 6 against the Ravens. Again, I think Lamar has a lot to play for, especially if he's not signed yet. I'm going to give this a loss. If I'm just being realistic, I think the Ravens actually had a really, really great draft. They got the safety Kyle Hamilton. They got the center Tyler Linderbaum. guys who I really thought the Giants had a chance at taking at 5-7, the Ravens got like in the mid and late first round. They're just I think the Ravens are going to be a really good team this year. I think they're very underrated. I could see them fighting with the Bengals for the AFC North division spot. So I think they'll play the Giants well. And again, I think Lamar is just a quarterback that the Giants, I'm really interested to see the defense against Lamar. I'm just going to give it to the Ravens, just gut instinct. Like, if I'm just being honest right now, going to give it to the Ravens. Ravens are always good.
I wish I had another hot take to throw in there, but you kind of said it all, dude. I give it to the Ravens for all those same reasons. Big one being Lamar's chip. The big one being they have an explosive offense. They have a lot of it's very much run, very much throw. It'll be tough for the Giants to win that.
What the Giants get to see next year is they get to see a lot of quarterbacks in year 2. So we get to see Justin Fields with the Bears, but then we also get to see Trevor Lawrence with the Jaguars. This game is tough. It's a coin flip, in my opinion. I think the Jaguars overspent horribly last year, but they do have talent, and Doug Peterson is their coach. He was the Eagles coach when they won the Super Bowl. Doug Peterson's not a bad coach. The Eagles management sucks, and Carson's not that good. We can talk about that later. We'll get to it. I could, if let's say Trevor Lawrence is popping off, I could see the Giants losing this game. It's tough. It's really tough. You can spin this either way. For some reason, I'm in a more pessimistic mood. Evan Ingram, I think Evan Ingram's going to drop 2 passes. Xavier McKinney and Blake Martinez will pick them off. Giants win this game. They get back on the right side, they get on the winning side. They're 3-4. I give them the win, but it's not as easy as I think people think.
Yeah. What'll be good is if they come. What's good about this game, to add to what you said, is that they're going to come from playing the Ravens.
They're going to come on a 2-game losing streak.
Yeah, right, and from 2 good teams. So their idea of good football is going to be potentially more at an elevated, realistic level than the Jags. And so when they play the Jags, they're going to be used to playing Green Bay or the Ravens. And for that reason alone, their just level of mindset they'll win that game. But I think you make a good point. It might not be so clean.
Yeah. So you got them winning it as well?
Yes.
You got them at 4-3 here. I got them at 3-4. Then we get the Seahawks at home as well. I think the Seahawks are in complete rebuilding mode. I don't care who's playing quarterback at this point. I think we win this game. I'm going to put us at 4-4.
I do too.
You got them at 5-3, John. Get a bye week. A week 9 bye week is a great week to get a bye week. Hopefully they get some rest. We come off the bye week and we go up against, again, another team that's rebuilding. And again, another second-year quarterback, a guy very underrated, or very under the radar. I think his name is Mills or Wills or something. He's the quarterback. He was a late-round pick last year, but he played a lot better than the Texans thought. So I can see, again, the Giants coming off a bye week winning this game. I could see this being a 3-game win streak. If Brian Dable's doing what I think he's going to do, and Matt Kafka is doing what I think he's going to do, and Daniel Jones is just playing serviceable football, and even if he's not, let's say Tyrod Taylor starts these 3 games, I still think the Giants win those games. What do you got, John, for the Texans?
They beat the Texans, dude. Year 2 quarterbacks, I really see a staff on the Giants who's just... They know what a year 2 quarterback looks like. They set the defense up the way they need to. They win this game.
Yeah. You got to remember, Wink Martindale, our defensive coordinator, was the defensive coordinator for the Ravens for the past 10 years.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not new to doing it.
Right. And that level of understanding alone.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So then we play Week 11, the Lions at home. Who do you got winning that game, John?
See, this is why I asked my question at the beginning, dude. Am I putting my money or
you gave us a win against the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. I
know. But I really think they can win that. The thing with the Lions is,
can Goff play any better than he did last year?
Philly, honestly, dude, he does. Dude. You know why? Because everyone forgets it, but go back. They had a tie or a win. I don't even remember. See, I even forget it because no one actually cares about the Lions.
That game.
Destroyed. You go back and you watch, and he threw that, and they caught it, and I think they won in overtime, and that was their first win of the year. They were 0-20. Terrible. and he runs down with this smile. Dude, the guy's got heart. And I think the Lions have heart, dude. Even their silly-ass coach, Billy. I think the Lions go into the season with some freaking heart, dude.
So, do I pencil them in a win?
It to the Lions.
I knew you were going to. I think you have to.
I can't help it, dude. I can't help it. I really believe they could win that game.
See, I just think the matchups for the Giants work out great. They have Hutchinson, who was the second overall pick, but Evan Neal's going to own his ass the whole game. And then Kayvon's going to take Penny Sewell for a ride. And if it's not Penny Sewell, then Azeez will. So I think we're just going to win that game. So we both have them at 6-4. Now we have Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving game, it's awesome. Against the Cowboys, again, you just put the Giants on a big stage. I just think, they come in on a winning streak, but I just think the Cowboys still get that win.
Dude, this one's so hard for me, bro. Dude, for the same reason I like the Lions in that previous game, the Cowboys got no hope, dude. Dak, dude, what's funny is this circles back a bit to our question about can a quarterback make a bad team good? And I don't know if Dak can. And you look at the freaking Cowboys and they're terrible, except for Dak. And so it's interesting, bro. I really could see this going either way. I think you're right, dude. I think because it's a big game, it's not going to go well. I think that doesn't help them. But I see the Giants winning this game, dude. Because they want it more.
And they're coming off a winning streak, dude.
Right. And if they just lost to the Lions, dude, they don't want to lose this again. So I'm saying
Giants win. You have them at 7-4.
Yeah.
Washington against home. This is going to be, I say they're going to split with Washington. So what I'm going to do is for the home game, I think the Giants will get it. I will give it to them. I think the Giants and Washington have very similar teams. I think what the Washington team has is Ron has now been there a couple years, and he's kind of built the team the way he likes it. And you got to remember, Washington has a good defense. I think Terry McLaurin is a stud of a wide receiver, and I think he's just going to have a day against the secondary of the Giants.
I could see it too.
But
I could see
I'm going to split us. So I'm going to give them the win at home, and then when we get to Washington week 15, I will give Washington the win there. Eagles. Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you on that.
All right, so Eagles, me and John disagree on the Eagles. I think the Eagles have built a really great roster. I think their coach is really underrated, which is shocking. I thought he was a goofball. I remember that press conference. It was really unmotivating, and everyone gave him a hard time. But then he came out and he took them to the playoffs, man. I don't care if you get your butt kicked in the first game. You went to the playoffs, So give the Eagles credit where you can. I'm going to give them the win at home here.
The Eagles winning?
Yeah, I think Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown they're too good at the wide receiver spot. I've seen Jalen Hurts play in person, and he's horrible at throwing. I mean, he is absolutely horrible. But I can see them winning. I'm going to split us with the Eagles, I think. And so I'm going to give them the win here, and then I'll give us the win probably after.
I give the Giants the win on this game. I think it's going to be super, super close, and then the fourth quarter there's going to be a pick. And if you look at the odds of who throws more picks, I think that's all it's going to be. I think it's going to be a one-score game, maybe even a field goal. I think the Giants win. I think with the Giants are just going in with an elite coaching staff, and it's like you go back and
they are, man.
You look at what's his face, and you're like, all you have to do is just play a defense that's ready to get a pick, and you win this game.
I mean, if you watch the Bills, I always tell people, is the Giants staff good this year? I say, go back and watch the Bills-Chiefs game. Oh, that was the best game of the year last year. Well, the offensive coordinator for the Bills is now our head coach, and the quarterback coach for the Chiefs is now our offensive coordinator.
Right.
So, watch that, and then, we'll see how you think.
Yep, and I think that alone. I think Jalen's not good enough to be two elite coaches. And I think, again, dude, I got a good feeling about Jones because really Mac Jones and Daniel Jones are the same. They're utilized best when they throw less than 30 passes, when they have 200 yards, 0 interceptions, 0 fumbles, 0 sacks. That's when they're at their best. And if you can just play them like that, you can do really freaking well. You ask more of them, you're going to lose the game.
I think
you
might
about Jones fast, then
then really, that's my opinion. They win this game if
I
they
think
can just
that's
play
going to be the
smart
problem
football.
with Jones, though, is the defense for the Giants, John, is really suspect, especially the secondary.
Really?
It's really not good. So Jones might be asked to have to come back, and that's
gonna be
where it's going to
hard.
be tough. And that's why, I give the Cowboys those wins, because the Cowboys always have a nice first and second script. They always get points right at the beginning, so I could just see that being tough for them.
Fair.
But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. But it's a great point. I think Jones is utilized the way you said best. Vikings. I'm going to give us the win over the Vikings. I know Vikings have a good team. They have a new coach, though, too. I can see Kurt struggling against Wink. Kurt is very one-dimensional. I think it's going to be the game. It's a 1 o'clock game on Christmas. The fact that I get to watch the Giants on Thanksgiving and Christmas Eve is either going to make my holiday season really special or really depressing. I'm going to give them the win.
I hate the holidays.
I'm going to be sitting at Thanksgiving pissed. It's the game's at 4:30. I'm going to be eating my dinner and be like, oh, shit. So
More turkey.
Yeah, more turkey. I'll be eating the corn. I'll be like, tastes like candy. But I give him the win over. I give him the win. I'm going to give him one primetime win. Brian Dable, by this point, has these guys in hot gear. Maybe again, Tyrod's playing now. Daniel's run into a wall and he's hurt, or he's just not there, or he's playing great.
Saquon's been out since the season started.
Saquon's been out since week 3. The bloodbath. But I'm going to give him the win here.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to go back. I'm gonna give the Vikings the win. The Vikings have a better defense than I think people give them credit for.
Vikings are going in hot too. A lot of people speak very highly of them.
Vikings could win the North if they can get their team playing well. Rodgers has lost so many pieces. It's really a great test. I'd say the Vikings have a better team on paper than the Packers, but what is the better quarterback? How much does that amp up? But are you giving them the win or the loss? I'm giving them the loss.
I give them the win here.
Wow, you have them at 10-4. I have them at 7-7. Colts. I think the Colts are going to be a really good team for a slew of reasons. They only upgraded. I think their quarterback is better. They got. I'm not going to remember his name right now, but they got a couple defensive players that are really, really solid. I think the Colts will have their way with the Giants, sadly. And I think Matt Ryan's going to be a stud.
I think anyone playing fantasy football needs to grab Matt Ryan first. I think the guy is going to be throwing absolute dimes this whole season. And so I give it to the Colts.
And then week 18, I will give us the win. Against
what's
the Eagles.
Easy about
what did I mess up here? Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. What game did I miss? Doesn't matter. I'll just put back in the 9. Someone tell me in the comments. John, what do you got?
Dude, this game could be which team from the NFC
gets the wild card spot.
Yeah. Wait, well,
gets the bye. Yeah, you're right. You're right. If the Giants are 10-5, no, you're right. The Giants are 10-5. They could possibly. I mean, so the bye week only goes to the 1 seed. It only goes to the 1st seed. Now.
Yeah, the winner of the NFC.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, my bad. For some reason, I thought it was division, not NFC. Yeah. This is going to be who gets the wild card. So it'll be. This is a big game. This is probably the biggest game of the Giants whole year. Because if they lose this, they might. If I put the Eagles down on this, what makes that record?
10-6. I think it's fair that they split with the Eagles. The Eagles have a better team.
Me too. And I had them winning the other one, so I have them losing 10-6. And again, another close one. The NFC is going to be fun because if it goes right, the whole division should rank up this year.
Totally. I totally agree. I think so again, 9-8 for me. Maybe some games changed, but I just can see the Giants sneaking into that 9-8 spot. It really depends. Obviously, we're not taking health into a factor here. The Giants have been riddled with injuries. That could be really deadly for both these teams, or for both of me and John's predictions. And it's really contingent on Daniel Jones and the coaching staff. I just personally think, the more I think about it, if Daniel Jones doesn't play well against the Panthers and the Bears, going into week 5 against the Packers, I can see the Giants putting in Tyrod and being like, all right, that's the end of Daniel. Like, it's over. Like, Daniel really needs to play well, but that could actually help the Giants win these games, which would actually suck because then our draft pick, this is a rough deal because the final piece here, and this isn't the thing, Daniel Jones either leaves the Giants or gets signed to a new deal. If the Giants go 9-8, that's kind of the worst of both worlds. Daniel Jones obviously didn't light the world on fire, but he played well enough to win games. Now what do you sign him to? With John, 10 wins, maybe signing Daniel Jones to a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
4-year deal.
You have such a strong offense. You really build out that defense moving
And I think this is maybe where we open next time because we're kind of at that hour mark. I just want to leave with this. I find it very hard to believe Daniel Jones will be the quarterback of the Giants next year, no matter how well he plays. Because most players need to prove themselves in 3 years. Kyler had to prove himself in 3 years to get a contract.
Yeah, look at Baker. Look at Baker, right? Wasn't that his third?
Baker is a better quarterback than Jones.
And they dropped him.
Or has at least played. Right. Baker has played better. I think we know what Baker is over Jones, but Jones needs to do a lot to get a contract. Like, Jones needs to have 32 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, like a bunch of rushing touchdowns, like a 68 to 72% completion percentage. Like, that's the only way I can see Jones getting that deal. It's just so tough because there's so many quarterbacks in the draft next year. And why would you sign Jones and give up more cap space when you've only seen him perform well 1 year and the other 3 years he has not been good?
Or do you just sign him to like a really shit deal?
He won't take it though. He won't take it.
Where is he going then?
I'm telling you,
it's like I don't think he gets another.
We'll see.
He goes somewhere. If he goes anywhere else, he's a backup. I think
and that would be the thing.
With the Giants could be his only chance of starting next year, which could be the only reason he stays.
But Tyrod's on a 2-year deal.
Dude, it's going to be interesting. I'll tell you, this is the most I've talked about the Giants in the whole year. And I think the only thing that bums me out the most is that we can't give Jones the opportunity to win. We could poor Baker and Jones have one thing in common, and they're going in with the cards against them next year. Like,
I think Daniel Jones has the most support around him he's ever had. I think he has the best play. He has the best coaching. He has the best team offensively. And he has to show something now. He's had some years in the NFL. He knows how to study. He knows how to read defenses. At least he should. And he's got to stop making bad decisions. And he has to show some real progression to get a contract. Some real progression. Those are my final thoughts. I'd love it. It'd be great. I'm rooting for him.
My super last thing, my only thing, dude, I really wish for Jones is that he could have a year with, at the end of the year, 1 interception, 70% completions, 210 average yards a game. It would just make me so happy because I think that's really his best. And he just is like a very heads-up, smart, careful. I think he's a Jimmy, dude. I think you give Jones a chance to be Jimmy Garoppolo, and he really does that well. He plays like...
And Jones, I'd say, is more athletic. Jones is faster. Yeah, I'd say Jones has just as much arm strength. Totally
stronger.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I agree.
I
agree. And that's the problem is putting him in this situation is dangerous. It's just dangerous.
No, it's not. It's not dangerous. It's absolutely. I would. It may be dangerous for Jones, but from the Giants, they're geniuses. They said, "Yeah, prove yourself. But if you don't, we owe you no money, and we can cut you. And if you play crappy, we get to pick a good quarterback."
Right.
The Giants, as a Giants fan, we're set up. I feel bad for Jones because Jones has to prove a lot in 1 year because most quarterbacks are asked to prove it in a couple.
Yeah.
That's what's tough.
Yep.
So I really think if I had to bet, I do not think Jones will be the quarterback going into the 2023 season. I hope he is. I'm rooting for him, but you have to prove a lot of things in 1 year to be that quarterback. So, and on that, John, do you have any final thoughts?
No, I've said my piece.
We got loads to talk about.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely, guys. We're definitely gonna try to have an episode next week. John will be on camera next week, so it'll be a little bit different of a setup. Let us know down below what you thought of this. It's definitely a little rambly, but I kind of love that. That's just how me and John talk about football. And I think, we'll have some Giants topics to talk about. I think we're going to go in depth with the Jimmy G conversation. I think we're going to go in depth on on, the defense, and I'm going to kind of show John a little bit more on that. And then I think we'll, take a look at another schedule. I think next week we'll look at the Bengals. John's favorite player, I think, is Joey. So we'll take a look at the Bengals and see how they recover after their 2021 Super Bowl defeat. So, but on that note, thank you, everyone. Be sure to check down below for a link for Josh's new channel. You guys should really check that out, especially if you're into like role playing and video games. That's what Josh is kind of doing now. And then if you guys enjoyed this, hit the like button, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Let us know if there's anything you want to talk about, and don't just don't just throw Giant stuff. Put some NFL topics down there, and we'll definitely discuss them. And on that note, peace.
Peace.